Okay, so for this part, it did come out well. It came out okay, but my focus was on the bags instead of my face, so it just didn't work out right. That's why I'm gonna forward this part. Anyway, I was explaining what intermittent fasting was, and I said how I kept saying intermediate instead of intermittent. But in short, intermittent fasting is alternating between eating and fasting. For instance, you can choose to eat between 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., that's 8 hours, and fast for the rest of the day, that is 16 hours. It focuses on when you eat rather than what you eat. And the reason why I decided to do the intermittent fasting will be shown in the next clip. I was watching 𝚘𝚎𝚎, and is he Matt? Hold on, let me check the name of the person. Okay, 𝚘𝚎𝚎, and the video was 12 habits that changed my life, and he talked about all these habits that he tried out during the year for like 30 days, so each month he'd try a new habit. And I was like, well, that would seem like a neat idea to do. And he had all these things he was trying. So one of the things I want to try out is what you call intermediate fasting. And so I wanted to start eating that from the afternoon to the night time, and then for the rest of the day, like in the morning, I don't eat anything because I feel like the afternoon will be the hardest for me. So I've chosen, like right now in my mindset, I've chosen to eat between 2 and 10 p.m. So between 2 and 10 p.m. I will eat, and then from 10 to the next day at 2 p.m. I'll not eat anything. I'll probably just drink water, and I'm gonna see how that goes. So December 26 to 31 was a great time. I was very excited for the challenge that was ahead, and like, you know, like that new hype of a new challenge. I am ready for this. I was just into it. So I did pretty well with the intermittent fasting in December 26 to 31. Oh, I made a mess on myself. And then came the month of January, and that's when the real challenge began. So let's see what happened in January while I do this. So today I was almost breaking my intermediate fasting because one, we had to go for brunch with family friends, and I think like it was supposed to be 1 p.m. but then luckily it turned out to be 2 p.m. so that worked out. And then today I came back. I had a lot of errands to run today, so I came back home at around 8, let's say, right, 7 or 8, and then I get into the house and I have to do a little bit of cleaning and rearranging. So by the time I am sitting down to have dinner, it's like 9:30. I was so scared. I mean, I had to still do some cleaning, but I was like, I'm gonna eat first and then finish up the cleaning, because otherwise it would have been 10 and I couldn't eat, and I'd have to stay hungry from tonight until tomorrow 2 p.m. So very close, but God saved. That didn't happen. Just finished eating my dinner, and it's 9:52, so 8 minutes before 10 p.m. So that was a close call. I almost failed with the intermittent fasting, and I escaped it by literally 8 minutes. So after that, I was motivated to get it done and to keep going with the intermittent fasting. It was also at this time that I realized I binge eat quite a lot. So binge eating is like when you eat but you're not supposed to be eating, you're not even hungry, but since you're sitting and you have nothing to do, you decide to eat. That's what I came to realize. I do that quite often. Yes, I've been able to eat between 2 and 10 p.m. for the past few days. I'm pretty excited about it. Now, I've not cut sugar yet, but I'm gonna cut sugar. However, I feel like I don't get as hungry in the morning, and I can sustain myself not eating until 2 p.m. And then from there, like today, I had my first meal at maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I felt pretty alright. So I realized I binge eat a lot. I mean, I knew it, but then now I like actually realize I binge eat a lot, and it's not good. And then the dreaded day came. I was so worried that I will not be able to. I can do this while I'm talking to you guys, so let's just finish this first. I ended up not finishing what I was saying, but the dreaded day that I was worried about was the day where I'll be going back to work, because when all this was happening, I was on the holiday break and I had. Anyway, let me just let this past me explain the rest before I talk too much. So yeah, today was kind of funny. I feel like today was the day I was dreading. Nilikuwa kazini and I sit at my work desk like from the time I get in to the time I leave work. So I was worried that between that 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. if I'm bored, I will have the urge to just go and find something to eat. And maybe it's a problem, but I don't know, but hopefully people understand. So luckily, surprisingly, I mean in the beginning it was a bit difficult because I was like, I haven't eaten breakfast. When is 2 p.m. gonna reach? I remember it being 11 and then it was 12 and I'm like, okay, I have like 2 more hours. Actually, it started off at 10 and I'm like, I have 4 more hours to eat. And then it got to 11 and 12 and then 1 and I'm like, okay, I have just 1 more hour. And then I kept myself busy during all these hours, and the next thing I know, I was eating at 4 p.m. So I was like, way to go. The weekend came along and I realized some of the struggles that came with the weekend. Staying up late and making plans with friends was a recipe for failure. It was the enemy of progress. But did I do it? Yes. And what were the consequences? Let's find that out. Anyway, the whole intermediate fasting thingy, I feel like my most difficult day was yesterday. Weekends are not fun because first of all, like I was about to go, we went for brunch and we went for lunch actually, and if that never worked out to be at the time where it was like the time that it was, I would have eaten before time. And then like we can usually stay up late, so those urges to eat at night zinaanza kuja like pole zinakuvamia. So that was another difficulty I had. But other than that, so far I have intermediate fasted every single day from December 26th. January 10, 2020 was the first time I broke my new habit, but surprisingly, I wasn't as disappointed as I thought I'd be. Had a whole conversation with myself, realized it wasn't recording, and so here we are again. Anyway, so yesterday was the first time I broke the intermediate fasting. I ate at around 11ish, and yeah, so I'm not mad about it really, because I think like one day out of the many days is not bad. It would be technically, today is the 11th, so it's 11 days plus 6 more days. Yeah, so it's been like 17 days, 2 weeks almost, 2 weeks and some more. Well, no, 11 days plus 5 days, so it's 16 days, 2 weeks and a few. So not mad about it, but we keep going. After that, things went downhill. I had strayed and just kept on straying. It was at this time I decided I'll be changing my hours from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and the new hours will be from 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. And here's the reason why. So we're gonna have like a come to Jesus moment. The past 2 days, my intermittent fasting has been terrible. I have just, starting Friday, I ate after 10, so I ate at around 11. And then yesterday, I also had dinner at around 11 instead of Saturday. And then today, I was so hungry, so I ended up eating at around 1 p.m. just because I was up like at 9 and had been running up and down doing all sort of chores. So I was really hungry, so I ended up eating at 1 p.m. and yeah, probably I'm gonna, you know, like get back to it this week, but we'll see how that goes. I was also considering moving it up from eating from 12 to 8 p.m. just because it's not good to eat right before you go out to bed. So maybe I'll start doing that from Monday, where I eat from 12 to 8 p.m. and then after 8 I don't eat until the next day at 12. The past few days have not been the best for the intermittent fasting because, you know, like how you can't, I don't know, an event happens and then I know it's gonna happen, but I didn't properly plan for it. So that's what happened this past week, and I'm gonna try to get back into it next week, but we'll see how that goes. Let's talk about the intermediate fasting thing. Hasn't been going great at all. I feel like this past week has been a downhill thing. It's not been good, basically. It's not been good at all. So yeah, tomorrow I will try to do it again because I'll be going to work, so that's going to be easier for me. I'll be eating from 12 and not eat after 8 p.m. So let's see how that works out for us. But this past week has been not so good, to say the least. So hopefully this coming week will be much better. Good vibes coming my way. Let's see how this goes. Let's crush it. So how did I do in the challenge? So I've not been eating after 12 a.m. and I've not been eating before 12 p.m. So I'm pretty hyped about that. I'm glad with that part of it. I feel like I've changed my eating habits a bit, but I still have to work on eating healthy. And I was listening to a video by 𝚜𝚑𝚎𝚎, and she was talking about how when you set goals, don't set something that's too hard. Set something that's too easy, that you tell yourself like, why would you make that as a goal when it's so easy to do? So that you can build that trust with yourself, and then eventually you'll be able to do the harder task. And I hope that makes sense. Well, it did make sense to me. So yeah, that's what I figured I'm gonna do. I feel like with the intermittent fasting, I tried, like, it's on my way to eating healthy, but I've started with fasting from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. or 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. but that varies. And then eventually I'm gonna build it up to maybe cutting sugar, but still like having the habit of not eating so much in between meals. So it's like baby steps that are easy to do, but eventually it's gonna build a more sustainable and harder habit. So that's what I'm planning to do. Let's see how this goes. I was able to successfully do the intermittent fasting 26 days out of 37 days. Just because I started on December 26th, so in total there were 37 instead of 31 days. That was 70%, which is kind of like a C plus, or maybe a C flat, or maybe a B plus or a C minus. One of those, I have it on the screen. So that was not too bad for a fast challenge, for the first challenge of the year. So today is January, is it? No, today is February 16, and the habits I had built in January are still applicable, or I'm still applying them on most days in the month of February, although the challenge has passed, but I have still maintained those habits. I do not binge eat as much anymore. I rarely eat past 11 p.m. I've started to have proper eating time, so I'll just not randomly eat whenever I feel like. And in terms of my weight, maybe I lost like a pound or two, but at the end of the day it wasn't my main focus. The main focus was to stop the binge eating, which I was able to successfully do. One of the minor cons is that I still don't eat healthy, but I feel like that's a challenge for another month. The fact that I was able to do this, not 100%, but like 70% is still pretty good. So the fact that I was able to do this is kind of encouraging for me, and I'll be having a new challenge each month. For the month of February, I'm going to challenge myself to be grateful each day. So come back in the month of March and we are going to see what I've been grateful for in the month of February. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to keep spreading the African love, or whatever kind of love we have to offer, because there's no room for hate. I shall see you on my next video. Kwaheri!